Welcome everyone. Good morning, good evening to all of you to today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. We've been doing a recap of chapter 3 and the discussions are going to get more engaging as we go deeper and deeper into the concepts that Lord Krishna is explaining about, the concept of duty, sacrifice, the spirit of sacrifice, and so on. So let's continue on this fascinating ride that we are on by invoking the blessings of God and Guru. I'm going to share my screen and we will get underway. Just give me a second. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Wonderful.
But not in the presentation mode.
Okay. Yeah. Now? Okay, great. Yes. So let's get started by invoking the blessings of God and Guru. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. All right, Radhe. So let's get started. Today we're going to recite the shloka, chapter 3, verse 17, in continuation with where we left yesterday, and talk about the deeper meaning of this shloka. And another fascinating discussion that we'll have today, we'll talk about what is the fundamental mistake we are all doing. Okay, at least most of us are doing, and which is repeating us in this world. Okay, that is the fundamental cardinal mistake that we are making. It's like you make the mistake at the first step, and that mistake keeps on getting amplified. Okay, and that is what we are going to talk about today. I think today we'll start from people who raised the hand the last. We will reverse the order. No, we'll follow the same order. Okay, let's get started. So let me recite it and you're welcome to follow along. Yastvatmaratirev syad atmatriptascha manavah atmanyeva cha santushtaha tasya karyam na vidyate. Okay, we'll pick up maybe 5 or 6 hands today.
Radhe Radhe. Estvatmaratirev syat atmatruptascha manavah atmanyeva cha santushta tasya karyam na vidyate. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Okay, let's pick the remaining hands.
Radhe Radhe Aparna.
Radhe Radhe everyone.
By the way, the Seva thing is already on. Okay, so if you're turning on your video, you are already earning points for your team. So just an FYI, no pressure at all. Yes, Aparna ji.
Thank you. Yastvatmaratirev syad atmatriptascha manavah atmanyeva cha santushtaha tasya karyam na vidyate.
Very nice, Aparna ji. Radhe Radhe. Okay, let's pick up a few more hands.
Radhe Radhe. Sam, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Okay.
Am I? Okay. Yasavatma Ratir Ev Sayyad Atma Tirtascha Manavan Atmanye Santushta Tasya Karyam Na Vidyate. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Very nice. Thank you, Samji. Okay, let's pick up the remaining 3 hands.
Radhe Radhe Riya ji, please go ahead.
4 hands.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Yastvatmaratirev syad atmatriptascha manavah atmanyeva cha santushtaha tasya karyam na vidyate. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe, thank you, Riya ji. Okay, down to our last 3 hands then.
Radhe Radhe Sandhya ji.
Radhe Radhe Sandhya.
Radhe Radhe. Yastvatma ratirev syat atmatrittascha manavah atmanyeva cha santushtah tasya karyam na vidyate.
Very nice, Sandhya. Okay, last but two hands.
Radhe Radhe Somesh ji.
Radhe 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 everyone. Yastvat maratirev syat atma triptascha manavah atmanyeva cha santuštah tasya karyam na vidyate. Radhe
Wonderful.
Radhe.
Very nice. Okay, last but not the least, Pragi.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe.
यस्त्वात्मा रतिरे स्यात् आत्मा तृप्तश्च मानवः आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते.
Wonderful. Very nice, Pragi ji. So in this
Thank
shloka,
you.
if you look at one of the words that Lord Krishna uses, Atmarati. Now, God himself is one of the definitions of God is Atmarati. He's also called Atma, Atmaram, and Atma Krida. So he's satisfied and blissful in himself only. So no wonder when people who rejoice in the self, we are getting closer. It's like when you start getting closer to the heat ball, the ball of fire, you start radiating heat as well, right? When you start getting closer, an iron starts getting closer to the magnet, it starts acquiring magnetic properties as well. So one of the symptoms as you start progressing spiritually, he's saying that now he's telling all along, Lord Krishna was talking about prescribed duties. And here he's saying there is an exception to the rule. There are a set of people, for them there is no duty. Who are those people? Who can rejoice in the self. Okay, they don't need people. Okay, I need this guy, then I'll be happy. I need this girl, then I'll be happy. I need this object, I'll be happy. If I get this, I'll be happy. They don't rejoice in externalities, put a condition for their happiness around the world. They rejoice in the self. But in order to get there, of course, there's a process. Who are illumined? Of course, they are enlightened. They are not in ignorance. The more we have put our stakes on the external world, the more ignorance we are carrying. Why? We will talk about that. That is a fundamental mistake that we are making. Okay. That means we are further away from illumination. Consciously, unconsciously, voluntarily, involuntarily, by our choice or otherwise. And fully satisfied in the self. Okay. They don't need anybody to plus, any addition to make them complete. Okay, that is the state they start getting closer to. And for them, once you reach that stage, Lord Krishna is saying there is no duty. Okay, no duty whatsoever. Nothing, no matter what they do, they're not bound by duties and they will not accrue any binding karma at that point. Okay, it's a very nice position to be. It's like you get a free hit. Like in cricket ball, you get a free hit, no ball, no matter where you hit, you will not get out. So you reach that stage, everything is a no ball for you at that point, okay? Because you have nothing else to accomplish. You have accomplished whatever was there to be accomplished, and you are a free bird now. We'll talk about this concept. So let's get started. So this is what we are going to talk about now. I want to show you, okay, this looks nice, okay? So what we're going to talk about is the fundamental mistake that we are making and which is impeding our spiritual growth. And believe it or not, we are serial offenders. Okay. So Shyamji, you can keep on accumulating the adjectives and the compliments I give to ourselves. So today, another compliment we will add, we are serial offenders who need serious rehabilitation. Okay. And the process of, spirituality is to rehabilitate us because we are serial repeat offenders. We don't learn and keep on repeating the same mistakes. So let's get into this concept and learn a few more things about ourselves. Okay, so the bondage, okay, the root of the bondage Whenever there is something, there is a reason for that. There is a cause for that, right? Now, the cause or the root or the manifestation of bondage happens because of something called, something called desire, okay? Material desire. I have to qualify it with material. If you desire God, it is a good spot to be in. So whenever something is said, this is not good for you, always prefix it with material. The same thing which is a weak point for us or a soft spot for us in the material world can become an asset in the spiritual side. So if you have a strong desire in the material world for somebody, it's a huge weakness. And if you have a strong desire for God, then it becomes an asset. If you have a strong pride in the material world, it becomes a weakness for you, from a spiritual. If you have a strong pride that you're a devotee of God, it's a good spot to be in, right? But we have to reach that level, right? Like, for example, Hanumanji had a pride that he's a das of Sri Ram, right? He said, Asabhiman something, Main Sevak Raghupati Pati More. That he had the pride that my master is Ram. So he had that pride. It's a good thing there, right? If you have anger in this world, it is bad. But if your anger with regards to, how fallen I am, why am I not able to get up and make spirituality my priority or make progress despite having all other favorable circumstances around me, that anger becomes an asset at that point. So this is a material desire, which is a root of cause for bondage. Now, how does it manifest? It manifests in two ways. This should happen. This should not happen. Okay. Which essentially our scriptures say that it's one of the panchaklesh, which is love, rag. Second one is dvesh. I want this. I don't want this. I love this. I hate this. I need this. I need to avoid this. I just love to be in the company of this person. I just can't stand this person. Okay. All these sentiments are binding. They are, I hope you like this coin. I don't know which currency it is, maybe yuan, but they are the two sides of the same coin. Okay. Negative attachment is dvesh. Resentment is difficult to get over than love. Mind it, this is a very important concept. I will tell it in more detail next week because that is a topic in itself. Resentment is more difficult to get over than attachment. Okay. Why? We will talk about it. So if I were to give an executive statement of Bhagavad Gita, it comes in 18.66, where Lord Krishna says, Sarv Dharmam Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braj. Okay, that is one statement. And even within that, if I were to simplify it, it's like, okay, somebody has a limited time in life, right? And people are about to die, they put Gita in their hand and put some words, 18th chapter. Okay, they can't even do 18th chapter. Then they say, at least do the, what do you call that, one shloka. And if they can't even do one shloka, I'll tell you even shorter. Okay, that is what works. But let's for now understand that these rag dvesh, they are one of the, it is 2 by 5 into 100, which is 5 into 40% of panchaklesh that we suffer with, rag and dvesh. Okay, the third one I'll talk about, which is the fundamental mistake that we make. So rag dvesh, we need to be very careful about, and especially resentment. If you harbor resentment, there's nothing worse you can do to yourself. It's like a keep on digging the pit for yourself, the more you'll have to climb over. Okay, and you are dirtying your heart. And when you dirty your heart, you are pushing God further away. It's like if some dignitary or some person is coming to your house whom you love and you want to welcome them, what do? Do you put all the garbage in your drawing room and say, hey, please come? No, you don't do that. You clean it up, you make it tidy, and do the best you can to welcome them. So when we harbor resentment, we are actually dirtying our heart and we are pushing God further away. And if that works for us, then we can go ride this sentiment. Okay, but if we understand the spiritual principle, this is something Maharajji said, that having resentment in real life, it's of course very, very, it's like drinking a poison every day. Not even in dreams we should have that bitterness. And if you are prone to bitterness, there is a direct correlation with arthritis. Medical sciences, okay, people who harbor a lot of resentment, they suffer from arthritis and diseases like that. It's just a matter of time before those things start gripping you. So medically, physiologically, psychologically, spiritually, resentment is the worst thing you can do to yourself. So rag and dvesh, let's move on. Now, who can rejoice and be satisfied in the self? Let's understand that. Now, Lord Krishna, he explains a little further in this chapter as we go along. He will say that desire is the cause of all sins. Consequently, it must be renounced. Even in Buddhism, they said there are 4 things, right? One is there is misery in this world, and then he says the cause of misery is desire, and then he says finish off the desire, and then you'll finish off the misery. However, in the path of spirituality, we don't say you finish off the desire, we say you channelize it. We just divert it in the right direction. Okay. Now, in the previous verse, if you look at it in the chapter rather, Lord Krishna, whenever he says give up desires, he is referring to material desires, not to the aspirations of spiritual progress or desire to realize God. It is a uplifting or a beneficial desire. So only who have given up desires for external objects can actually become Atmarati, eligibility for Atmarati. Otherwise, you are further and further away. It's a lack of peace. See, we don't learn our lessons. Lifetime after lifetime, we have fallen for material things, gotten disappointed, got hurt, pain, but we still want that. So it is because we are serial offenders. That is how badly conditioned our mind is, that despite knowing, we still, okay, maybe this time, maybe. So our saints say that you continue to gamble on the world and on people. Just try to gamble on God just once and see what happens. Right? We play big sattas, we go to casinos and world anywhere we are gambling, lifetime after lifetime. So the condition for that is you have to give up desires for external objects. That is the key. And then you can rejoice, and rejoice means having pleasure. Okay, when I say pleasure, the other 2 aspects that come, okay, you replace pleasure with joy. Okay, temporary gratification with lasting fulfillment, and external dependency to internal. These are the shifts that happen. Through external objects, you are seeking pleasure. It could be essential pleasure, it could be some kind of a sensory gratification. When you give up that, you get joy. I said God is not conjuice makhi choose. When you start aligning to these principles, what he gives you in return is something you would have never experienced. But we are not willing to let go of it. Okay. So pleasure is replaced with joy. Temporary gratification is replaced with lasting fulfillment. And the external focus, you are no longer dependent on external things to make you complete at that point. Okay. It's more of an internal game at that point where you become Atmarati. That is the word God has said. And then, of course, the illumined intellect, the perfect knowledge, and the lasting peace is a natural consequence of it when you start giving up these shallow, temporary, sensual desires, related to your senses alone. Okay, and start aligning to the principle that Lord Krishna is talking about. Do things in the sacrifice, in the spirit of sacrifice, not for your bhog, because it will give you restlessness, lack of peace, agitated mind, and dirty antakaran. Nothing, basically. It's like we are on a self-destruct suicidal mission, nothing else. Now, of course, that happens, but let's talk with a story. Okay, here is a gentleman. You see this guy? Okay, let's call him Mr. Busy Bee. Okay, he's a Mr. Busy Bee, and we'll see why he's a Mr. Busy Bee. Okay, he works and he's a go-getter. Okay, he's going to, like, people are there, right? Jo main chahu, wo main paun, in movies they say. And whatever so he works hard, and of course that keeps him busy. So if you ask him, he's like always busy in his work. But whatever time he gets, he works hard, and then he parties hard as well, right? He's a good family man, and then he has a big extended family. As you see, they are having a good time with his family, kids, parents, friends. maybe potlucks and all those family dinners and all. So we asked this guy, what keeps you busy? He said, I have tons of things to do. I just don't have time. Either my work and remaining time with my family and, vacations and other stuff. And that's about it. I just don't have time for anything else in life. You tell them why don't you start reading Bhagavad Gita or attending something? They'll say, oh, where do I have time? Look at my schedule. And of course, when you look at their schedule, they don't have time. Okay. They just don't have time. And you would see so many such people. Okay. And maybe you can resonate it with that as well. So many responsibilities. You have work pressure, boss is saying this. Then you have a big family, they demand your attention. Then you have a little kid to take care of, and then aging parents, and then friends keep popping up. You have social duties, obligations, all that stuff. And this is a very atypical life this guy is leading. Okay. Absolutely no time. Forget about taking a break. He just cannot afford anything other than his work and whatever social life he has. Okay, now what happens? Doctor tells him, your liver is going to get damaged. Okay, either you sit down, take it easy, or say goodbye to your liver. And this Mr. Busybee, all of a sudden, you look at him with his bed, he's just confined to his bed and he will not move for next 3 months. Okay, he said, doctor, if you ask me 6 months, 6 months is fine. If you tell me a year is fine. And all of a sudden, this guy, this transformation from no time to a lot of time transformation happened. How does it happen? Why did it happen? Anybody? Of course, this guy's schedule was crazy, right? I mean, you can't even expect him to find even 5 minutes for spirituality or to do any seva. It's too much, asking for too much. How can I make that commitment in life, right? When my schedule is like this, so many people demanding my attention. From no time to lot of time, how did this transformation happen? Let's hear quickly from a few participants before we move further on this concept.
Radhe Radhe Shyamji.
Yeah, राधे राधे राहुल भाई. नितिन जी, it's all about life. जीवन जीना है मुझे भाई, मर गया तो क्या करूंगा? It's all about my life, my way. To live more, enjoy more.
True. Very true.
Radhe Radhe.
Yeah. So for the sake of liver, this guy is willing to give up everything else in life, right? Which was so much of priority for him at this point. Yes, Somesh, you wanted to say, and Sandhya, 2 more hands, and then we proceed further.
Radhe Radhe Sandhya ji.
I was saying what you just said, priority. So his priority became this now, and hence he has now a lot of time. Earlier priority was just pleasing people and doing.
But in this case, this argument will not come. It's okay, whatever happens, I will continue doing because this is my priority work and this thing is my priority and I don't have time. It's okay. Even if my liver fails, that's fine. That will not happen in this case. Why? Right? Because it is important for him to live, right? To take care of his body at that point, because if there is no life, what's the point, right? Good point. Let's hear from Sumesh and Prabhat ji quickly, and then we'll move forward on that. And that will get us to the third klesh, the fundamental mistake that is there deeply ingrained in our intellects we are going to talk about. Yes, it's just a stepping stone to that. Yes, Sumesh.
The reason is his senses desires that he got late and lazy and misery and so.
Yeah, it's catering to his senses. Very true here, because everything is all the pursuits that we do is essentially catering to our senses alone. But there's a fundamental there's another thing I'm going to touch upon that. Let's hear from Prabhat and then we'll move forward on this discussion. Yes.
Radhe Radhe Nitin ji.
Radhe Radhe.
Nitin ji, basically it's almost it's depending upon the realization. Earlier to the health issue, the person was realizing that the family is important, the work is important. But later, after this liver issue, the person now come to know the body realization, like the health is important. But after at a point when we realize self, when we get the self-realization, then we come to the other step.
True. Very true. Good point, Prabhat. Very nice. Maybe one more hand and then we proceed further. Yes, Sasmita ji, I think you're raising hand for the first time.
Radhe Radhe Sasmita ji.
Like Raga Dvesha, Abhinibesa means the fear of death is one of the biggest fear human being has. So after suffering from liver failure, there is a development of fear of death. That's why he is having time.
True.
Thanks.
That's true. Abhinivesh is one of the Panchaklesh, and which basically gives us a fear of death. Very true. And fear of death is the biggest fear humanity or humans have, because, and it is very natural, because and why does fear of death comes? It is tied to the fundamental mistake that we are making as well. I'll get to that. Great point, Shashmita ji. Maybe we can take Swati ji real quick and then move on with this topic. Yes.
Yeah, Radhe, I just wanted to comment on same thing, that nobody wants to die when it comes to our body, because we think ourselves as a body and we don't want it to get like destroyed. That's why he is taking rest now, because he loves his body.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Radhe.
Very nice. I think you have kind of covered that concept, which I'm going to build on. So this guy, for him, his routine was non-negotiable between his work and his personal life. And all of a sudden, all of that can take a backseat because he has a bigger priority. So for the sake of his body, he's willing to compromise on something that he thought was non-negotiable. Okay. For the sake of his body. That is how important we consider our body, because we associate our identity to this body. And that is the third klesh, fifth klesh, in fact, Abhinivesh, where we think of ourselves as this body. And when this body is going to cease to exist, our existence will also cease to exist. And being eternal part of God, we have a natural tendency to seek eternity, which we anyway are. So the point here is, we are willing to make a compromise for the sake of our body, but we have forgotten our true identity, that we are a soul. And we are not willing to make any compromise whatsoever in our routine, or even try to make any changes, adjust any changes for the sake of our true self, which is soul. These material desires, why do they arise in the first place? Because we identify ourselves with the body. Okay, this is the fundamental mistake which keeps on compounding. We think of ourselves as this body and this mind, or this mind, intellect, and the bodily associates and the bodily pursuits as the goal of our life. Because we think ourselves as body, we think world is our goal. Getting a good job, having a handsome spouse or a beautiful wife or a big house, or hitting a jackpot, going out to a dream vacation. All these are bodily pursuits. Why? Because we are thinking ourselves as a body. And that is the fundamental mistake that happens right at the beginning of the life. And it keeps on compounding, because then people will start feeding you. You are this age, you should be doing this, you should have done that. Now you should be doing that. If you don't do this, you are a failure. This is your success. Everything is linked to externalities. And that fundamental mistake of thinking ourselves as a body and defining our success and defining external adornments as a yardstick for our success, that mistakes keeps on making it difficult for us as we go along. So these yearnings of the body and mind, they give rise to the desires. And then you keep spinning in this realm of Maya. Sage Tulsidas says that when soul separated itself from God, material energy covered it in illusion. Ignorance is the first thing. Ajnanam evasya mool karanam, right? And because of illusion, now the plot starts to thicken. You are a body. All these things are mine. I'm going to cry because I lost him. I just need this. Like that mind, you start seeking the world. I need to get my desires fulfilled. If I don't get it, I'll be unhappy. All this is ignorance. Okay. Saints are telling us, to start understanding the higher, bigger principles. What you are seeking is broken glasses. Go for the higher treasures. But our mind is not willing to let go of it. Now, by virtue of that illusion, it starts thinking of it as a body, and ever since, its forgetfulness of the self has been experiencing immense misery. So the thing is, we are all selfish in this world. Okay, we are all swarthi. However, in order to solve that swarth, we have plugged in this equation. Mathematical equation was to be solved. It was supposed to be solved by plugging x equal to 4. You put in 9 there. So when you put 4 instead of 9, you put in 4, all the equation will get solved incorrectly. And that is the biggest ignorance that we have, which is called viparya, where we start thinking of ourselves as body, and this whole equation start taking a turn now. So that is the fundamental mistake that we need to gradually correct. Now you say, okay, we do understand we are soul. Yeah, we do understand. I mean, the situation is not as catastrophic as we are thinking. Okay. Now, if you think about, how do I explain that? So, see, we don't look as good as we portray ourselves on social media. Okay. If you look at our pictures in Facebook and Instagram, cool pics, it's like audition ready pics. So we don't look as good as we show ourselves on social media. And nor do we look as bad as we look in our Aadhaar cards, PAN cards, and possibly passport cards. Okay. So reality is somewhere in between, right? So not as good, not as bad, somewhere in between. So similarly, we are not completely in forgetfulness of intuitively, we know we are a soul. So somewhere in between. It's not like we just don't know. We have an abhas, intuition is there, and we know, yeah, something is not working out. We go for certain virtues because soul has an inclination towards good things. So we are there, but not yet there. Near, so close and yet so far kind of a scenario. And that is where we need to harness that side of ourselves, as opposed to deepening our material desires and deepening this conviction that we are this body. And the way to get over desire is to fulfill it. That is another problem our mind is creating. Okay. You think once a desire is fulfilled, then I'll be happy and then everything will be hunky-dory, then I'll do spiritual. No. Spirituality says when you try to fulfill your desire, material desire, by fulfilling it, you are pouring ghee into fire. It will come bigger and better with redoubled intensity. So there's nothing actually you're going to achieve out of it. Now the smartness is to understand what spirituality saints are telling and take it on their face value, as opposed to experiencing misery and then learning it the hard way. Okay, so that is the whole idea. So let's move on. I hope you understood the fundamental mistake we all are making. So this is what is happening right now. You look at the goal. This looks happiness. I hope you know Lionel Messi, right? Soccer. So you are supposed to score from this side, from the front. We are trying to score the goal from the back side. Okay, it will not count. Okay, so this is what is happening. We are seeking happiness, but we are going after material world. Why? Because we have thought of ourselves as a body. It will never give us the satiation that our soul needs. Let's look at it through another example. So here is a guy who loves to travel. Okay, he wants to travel, and so this is a guy, and he has to go to Kashmir, not Pakistan. Okay, and he started walking towards, he was supposed to go there, but his map told him to go towards Kanyakumari. So basically, what's happening? He's going further and further away from his destination, because the direction that he has taken, thinking of where he's going to reach his destination, is reverse. Now, once he comes to know what should he do? He should simply turn the direction. That's all. So what has happened is, right now we are intellectually convinced that this water, Maya, which looks white, is milk, and we are going to extract butter out of it. And that pursuit is continuing. We are churning out of it. Sometime we find this person will give me happiness, this object will give me happiness. This pursuit has been going on. Our scriptures say, you keep on trying. You may be able to extract oil out of sand. You may be able to pass a camel through an eye of a needle. They're not possible, right? But scriptures say it may be possible. You may be able to, grow grass on top of a tortoise shell. Okay, those are the kind of examples given in our scriptures by Tulsidas and all. These are all impossible things. These things may be possible, but extracting happiness from material world or material relations or material objects is impossible. Very clear verdict. So you just need to reverse your direction. The direction that we have taken is just the opposite. Okay, it should be spiritual because you are spirit souls and you have started going after the bodily pursuits. Okay, and that is the biggest problem that you have. Now, this is how it is. Those who rejoice in the self, they are illumined. They are fully satisfied in the self. For them, there is no duty. And conversely, but who do not rejoice in the self, there are duties for them. You cannot say, I will neither do duty nor rejoice in myself, nothing. Then you are incurring binding karma. Okay, you are deepening your sanskars, and you could actually be working, making your karma work against you if you're not following that principle. It's very simple. So you are absolved from duty only when you give up sensual. You have actually reached that stage where you have given up the desire. You do things in the spirit of sacrifice, not with a sense of enjoyment or bhog. And then when you reach that stage, there will come a stage where you no longer obligated to perform any duty. That is called Jivan Mukta state, or you have become a saint at that point. Okay. Until then, you are bound by duties. Now, as long as you can get this graduation, once you are a college student, you are obliged to follow the rules of the universities, the duties, and you get this topi only when you become graduate. Okay, so don't ask for that thing until you have become that. And those people who have become united with God, they walk on the head of the Vedas. For them, there is no duties at that point. The purpose of Veda is served by them already. Okay, so they become like this puri. Always I tell that, fried puri, now they cannot become atta back again. So for them, there are no duties. But for normal people, you continue to perform your duty, but in the spirit of sacrifice is what God is saying. That is the key thing. And when you continue to do that, you will become illumined, you will become Atmarati, you will become Jivan Mukt, you will become a Puri. All right. Any questions so far? I know it was a little loaded topic, but I hope it was making sense when I was talking. So we can take a few questions and then we have a few other stuff to cover as well. Yes, Ramji, you had a question?
Sort of, Radhe Radhe. So मतलब हमारा ultimate aim is to be a puri. आटा वाटा सब छोड़ दे पानी वानी. पूरी बन जाए and then we done deal.
Yes.
Is that so?
Yes. Very true.
So how easy is it to be a puri?
How easy it is to become Puri, basically. The question is very contextual. So there was a guy who was going to Badrik Ashram. Okay. This sannyasi, he was traveling to Badrik Ashram. And then there was another guy who started walking along with him. And the other guy asked this guy, how long will it take to reach up there? So this guy did not reply. He kept on walking. And after 1 hour, he said, it will take us 8 hours. He said, I asked this question 2 hours back. He said, for 1 hour, I was checking your speed. It is 16 kilometers. In 1 hour, you cover 2 kilometers. So depending upon our speed, it might be pretty quick or it may take a little bit of time. Really depends on us.
समझ गए भाई. Thank you so very much of
no worries.
saying it in such a nice way. और जो आपने कहा कि जो सेल्फ में सुखी है तो उनके लिए पूरी वूड़ी की जरूरत नहीं है मेरे ख्याल से.
They are a done deal. See, when saints descend on this, they are not under the Karam Bandhan. When God comes, he's not under the Karam Bandhan. He's not going to have, they can, because whatever they are doing it with an intent of welfare of others, because they have nothing to achieve for themselves. They've already attained that perfect bliss. What we do, it is self-seeking, no matter what we do. What they do is for the welfare of others, because they have nothing to achieve for themselves at that. They can relish the bliss of God and divine abode, right? Why do they even have to come here? Right? When you are already in Hawaii, why do you have to come to a jail, right? Some jail. They don't have to, but they come to help people around. And at that point, the only objective or goal for their coming here is to help people, because they have already attained whatever is there to be attained by a Jivatma at that point. They are Jivan Mukta.
So you mean to say contentment is not the key. Contentment and to help others is the key.
No, contentment, see, there are multiple things you have to do. Contentment is a stepping stone for that, right? These are the things we are talking about, God realization here. Atmaratis, you have realized God at that point. So Lord Krishna is simply explaining that I am telling about duty and sacrifice. However, people who realize me, they are no longer bound by this duty. That's all he's saying. And then they become Atmarati like God himself.
So if I am content within myself, so I have to go much beyond that. Is that so?
You will be content with yourself only when you are realized God. Okay, it's not a movement, it's a way of life.
Yeah, it's a way of life. I get that.
When you are perfectly surrendered by God's grace, you will realize God, and only at that point you will be at perfect bliss and full content that you're looking for. It's again God realization. So basically, Krishna is saying people who realize God, who have reached the goal of life, for them there are no longer any duties.
So इतने there, वहाँ होंगे कुछ लोग ऐसे होंगे who are content and who have no goal, just to seek the God.
How can you say that? What's the question? People, yeah, if
there might be people who are already content with whatever they have, and they are with the God. They are totally surrendered in whatever they are, form they are, wherever they are. This is possible, no?
Possible. God realized people are possible, yeah. What do we do if they are there?
Is it true that they have to be saints? No, not necessarily.
No,
they can be like you and me.
Not possible. People who have realized God, only they can be like that. And there might be a lot of people like that. We have no way to know that.
Maybe I need to
See,
contemplate more.
Don't speculate. If you're seeing somebody said, people say we are very content with our life, and you start thinking they have God realized, doesn't work that way. Okay. A lot of people say that, right? But their secret stash gets tested in life. So if just because somebody claims I'm completely satisfied in life and not doing anything, you think now this guy is Atmarati, he's God realized, doesn't work that way. Only God and Guru can understand that. So from our standpoint, we have to focus on our journey rather than speculating if this person is God realized or not. God will lead us to a Guru, and then our self-transformation is the key. And then it will become very, a little more clearer, whether the other person, at what level he is. As you start getting elevated spiritually, you'll start getting a little bit of sense of that as well, right? But just because somebody is saying that doesn't mean they have become God realized, right? A lot of people say that we have Prabhu ka diya hua sab hai hamare paas, and they're testing, and the testing starts, then everything goes for a toss, right? Yeah. Yes, Urvi, you had a question too?
Can we take one question in the chat and then Urvi?
Sure.
Yeah. So Rajita Ji asked that please guide and explain more on Atmarati.
Atmarati means when you are content in yourself completely, and that can happen only when you have attained perfect bliss. And perfect bliss can only be attained when you have realized God. So they are all interrelated concepts. Atmarati can happen when you have attained perfect bliss. Perfect bliss can happen when you have realized God. You can realize God only through a grace of a Guru. And grace of Guru will come only when you are perfectly surrendered. Okay. This is the sequence how it goes. Just because you say I am very santosh doesn't mean anything. Unless you are perfectly surrendered, you have found a Guru, you've gotten the grace, you are surrendered, and then you become Atmarati. That means you are a done deal. You are no longer obligated to come back to this material world. It's a pretty advanced, it's like reaching the goal of life. So they are related concepts. And when will you surrender? Now I'll take a step back. Why would you surrender? You would surrender only if you are intellectually convinced, right? This is the thing to do. How will you get intellectually convinced? Only if you have sufficiently contemplated on it. What will you contemplate on? It has to be right knowledge. Where will the right knowledge come from? Scriptures. Who will tell you the knowledge of scriptures? Guru. So they are all interlinked concepts. It's not like Atmarati, I'm God. I mean, have you gone through that entire cycle? Right? It's a sequence to all of these, right? I spoke about the college graduates here. You get that topi only when you go through the process. If a student says, you know what, I'm in 5th class, my aim is to become a graduate, give me that doesn't make him a graduate. So he has to go through the process part of it in this lifetime or next lifetime. And once they reach that stage, of course, they are
Radhe
eligible. Yes.
Radhe Urvi.
Radhe Radhe. Actually, I wanted to ask that, like you said that when we don't perform, like we have some prescribed duties, all of us, and we have to do it. So when we don't do it, our own karmas start working against us. So how does that happen? If you could explain a little.
So what it happens is, I'm not saying our own karma start. Basically, what it means is the law of karma will start working against us. That means we are incurring more binding karma and more prarabdha for future lives. Right? It's like pouring into the ocean of our karmic backlog. So when we do it for the spirit of sacrifice, we are exhausting that ocean. But when we are doing it for our sense gratification, we are contributing further to that ocean. And that means the law of karma, we are not making it work in our favor. We are making it work against us because more of binding karma we are doing. I hope it makes sense.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Okay. Yes, let's take maybe a couple more questions.
Radhe Radhe Sumeshi.
Radhe Radhe Nitinji, I have the same question. When we will become Puri, after Bhagavad Prapti or before?
What will we become? Sorry, I didn't get that.
When will we become Puri?
Puri means becoming Bhagavad Prapt. Puri cannot become Atta back again, right? It's just an analogy I'm saying. Okay, that doesn't mean we try sitting inside the kadai anymore, okay? What it means is the Atta, it becomes Siddh. Siddh means it is cooked. Like chawal, it becomes Siddh. Atta becomes Siddh, it becomes Puri. So the point here is you cannot reverse that thing anymore. Puri cannot become an Atta back again. So Puri is just an analogy, okay? Don't take it, it is a metaphor. Don't take it literally because I'll be in trouble otherwise, okay?
Thank you, Nitinji.
No worries.
There is a comment, Nitinji, in the chat from an anonymous person that what is this law of karma acting opposite?
Not opposite. It is like, see, either we can make law of karma work in our favor or we can make law of karma work against us. When we do karma for the pleasure of God, we are making law of karma work in our favor because we are exhausting our past prarabdha, and we are increasing our surrender. But when we do karma for the sake of our sense gratification, for our own pleasure, then we are making law of karma work against us because all of those karmas become binding karmas. That is what I meant when I said law of karma against us. And binding karmas have consequences that we have to bear in our future lives. Yes,
Sasmita ji.
The point means I have some thinking which I want to put here. Means the Gita was delivered in the war field, means in the Yuddha Kshetra. So this material world is also Yuddha Kshetra, and we have to deal with this Yuddha Kshetra. So for that, I think the Gyan is more important. Gyan is important, so that Gyan is delivered by the God to us, and if we have to implement that, we have to constantly remind us that we are here for this. All these material things are temporary. Only thing that is permanent is the God, and we have to practice it through contemplation, and when situation comes we have to analyze that again and again, and that Gyan is also not sufficient. We have to create energy or surrender ourselves to God for giving us the energy that we can go in the bhakti marg more efficiently. We can deal with these material things. We can keep detach ourselves from that. For that, we have to surrender Him and pray Him for His energy to deal with all this. And if we know the Gyan daily, and if we practice it, we can do in those situations, we can handle it that efficiently. And after a time, the purification of heart came automatically, slowly it came, and there is something changed. Anybody can feel that.
Yes, Susmita. Beautiful points. I think you articulated it really well and summed up what we are discussing. So thank you so much for that. Yes, last but not the least, Sam, you had a question as well, and then we have Sandhya has got some exciting announcements to make that you don't want to miss out on. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, what kind, is it possible to know what kind of binding karmas come for our actions,
God, see, we have to, in order to get inside God's head, we have to become God realized. So all the cards are held by God only. We don't know which life's prara, which drop God will pick up when we become humans. We don't know. It doesn't be like this life and there will be like a movie, Hindi movie going on, intermission, and you continue in the next life. Nothing like that. It could be from maybe millionth life back. We don't know what kind of prarabdh he might pick up for us. There's absolutely no formula for that.
No, I'm asking, I did not ask about what prarabdh he picks. I only asked what kind of binding karma accrues for our actions.
Binding karma basically means that now if you want to know the sins, right, you can read Garud Puran. But I would say if you have time, read Bhagavatam, not Garud Puran. But if you really want to be scared about material world, the kind of things we look for, the kind of pleasures we go after, and what are the side effects of it, read Garud Puran and it will put a lot of things in perspective. But I would say it's better to invest time in Bhagavatam than Garud Puran. But if you are very curious, Garud Puran is the right way to do, which sometimes getting scared works better than, right? There is a psychology, human psychology. If you give somebody a carrot, they may not feel incentivized. And when you scare them for something, then they get incentivized. So fear works better than what do you call that? An incentive in some cases. So if you want specifics, read that, and it details out stuff basically, which can actually freak the wits out of us if you really
Everything, does it contain everything in detail?
Most of the
All
things.
kinds of actions, all possibilities, all cases.
Most of the cases, very specific, maybe you get in, but yeah, most of the stuff it covers. But I will not recommend reading that at all. Okay, I would rather read Bhagavatam and develop love for God than getting scared about, oh my God. See, the idea should not be to exhaust our prarabdha. The idea should be 18.66 that Krishna is talking about, that I'm going to burn your prarabdha. Krishna is promising that I will burn it in one shot. Is that a smarter strategy, or understanding what all drops are there and what all drops I can contribute and how I can exhaust the drops or have them pan out? It's like a mission impossible that we are thinking about. Better strategies, get to 18.66, let Krishna burn all the stockpiles. That as part of his mercy. That is a much more what you call smarter strategy around it. Yes, Rahul?
Yeah, there is a comment from Surendraji that Puri cannot afford to forget the base of atta.
Which one?
So he's saying when the atta becomes Puri, so Puri should not, I mean, cannot afford to forget the base of atta. He's saying in the
क्योंकि पूरी भी कभी आटा थी, right? Very true. Yeah. Okay, so I think there are some announcements. I would like Sandhya to talk about the Seva initiative that we have. I want to make a quick announcement that we are really needing somebody who has website expertise, technical expertise. If you are there, we need help on RKT website stuff, and it's a beautiful Seva to be involved in. If you want to chime in, please put it in the feedback tracker. And of course, you'll get points for that in our Seva initiative that we are doing. So just putting out a word for that. And Sandhya is going to talk through some of the stuff that those questions that might come up as part of frequently asked questions. So over to you, Sandhya, to explain some of the framework that we have put in and the spirit in which we need to do the Seva. That's the more important thing. That's the key thing.
Okay, Radhe Radhe. I guess you all can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, as Nitinji said, so okay, like this is a Seva model that we have recently launched for those who may not know. So we have 4 teams, selfless, enthusiastic, Vinamra and Ananya. Basically representing 4 alphabets of Seva and also representing the qualities that all the Sevaks or all the devotees should be having. Okay, and then second point was the spirit. So as you can see, there are 4 teams, there are scoring system, But the overall spirit is that through this scoring system, maybe we can become more disciplined, but we ultimately want to be inspired and feel more motivated. And the ultimate purpose is purification through this, become more nishkam and have antakaran shuddhi, right? So it's not really competition. So one doesn't have to take any stress or pressure around it, but enjoy having the loving opportunity and grace to serve God and Guru. Okay,
Yeah, I just wanted to add one more thing. Thank you, Sandhya. Before it, so the first thing that comes to is, because if you look at it, it's a lot of social media based, right? But if you're not comfortable with social media, right, a lot of people are not, even I was not. I don't think that is the be all end of it. Okay, there are a lot of other sevas where we could do it in a closed group, or we can create content or help with other back end activities as well. So it's not like social media all or none. If you're comfortable, great. If not, then there are a lot of other activities as well. The whole idea is for you to inculcate it in your routine and take benefit of seva, because when seva grows on us, you will realize that it's a wonderful addition to our routine, and it is nishkam, by inherently nishkam, because you're not getting paid for it and you're giving your time, which is like giving your life for something bigger. And if through your efforts, small activity, somebody else gets inspired, it's very endearing to Krishna anyways. So that is the whole idea. Okay, so the idea is to develop that spirit of seva, build it in our routine, and rest is all cosmetic, right? Competition and all that stuff, let's not get too so far in our head, but it's more an opportunity to build a kind of a routine for ourselves. Yes, Sandhya, please go ahead.
Yeah, and also one thing that you get association of people who are like-minded, who also have similar goals in terms of spiritual endeavors. So that's another purpose that gets fulfilled through this team-based seva activities. Okay. Now maybe I just wanted to go through this tracker that all of us who have signed up for this seva can start filling in either by themselves or with the help of their team leaders. So just wanted to describe different aspects of it so that no one is confused. And if you have any doubts, you can just right away ask it about it. So when we say like, share, or comment, this is about any of the links from social media or even our community portal. I think most of you know about the community portal, which is a closed group. It is not really a Facebook, Instagram kind of a social media. So the idea is, before doing like, share, or comment, we should have watched or read whatever that post or video is, because the whole purpose is to kind of learn something out of it. So it's not just a formality. I guess, yeah, scores that corresponds to any activity are mentioned in brackets next to the name of the activity. And moving further, I guess these are straightforward, so I will not.
One thing I wanted to add is, I think our focus is CIC and RKT at this point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is why we have shared those handles, because there are enough groups, initiatives going on, and we want to promote. This is the CIC platform where we are having these sessions. So we really want to go big where more people can benefit from it. So our focus will continue to be RKT and CIC and our portal. Okay, in that sense, from a seva standpoint.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, the CIC is the Center for Indian Culture and Education, a part of which we are having this Bhagavad Gita class as well. So if you are co-hosting in any of the sessions which are run by CICE, you can utilize those, you can put your scores here. So it's not just for the Bhagavad Gita class, but for any of the sessions which are hosted.
You are doing any seva, you can put
Yeah.
it, as long as they are within that CIC JK thing. Yeah.
Right. So any seva in this realm can be included. And I guess then video on. So today I actually saw so many people had their videos on, and I think that's great. So that also fetches you some bonus points. So please fill that in. And in fact, those people who are not part of the seva teams and are keeping their videos on can consider joining seva teams. So that's another option. And yeah, I think some people who are not comfortable with Facebook and Instagram, as Nitinji also mentioned, can, even sharing information on WhatsApp itself is also considered as sharing. So a lot of people I see, and I would like to cheer them. I think people from Vinamra team have already started putting information on their WhatsApp status through which is reaching out to many people. Of course, only if you are comfortable doing that, but that's another way by which you can spread the word about these wonderful wisdom that we are receiving. Yeah, I guess this is clear. Like if you have already started a fundraiser page or an angel page, you also get one-time points for that. And if you are, working on getting more donors, those will also be included. So I guess this is all the activities. And finally, I just wanted to show the scoreboard once.
Oh my God, already so much of action has happened, huh? Yo, I
Yeah,
saw one
just
of
like
the,
2-3 days, I guess.
I saw that Instagram post. I think one Shefali had created, and then Urvi and Abhishek. That is Abhishek is beautiful post. Maybe we should play it in one of the sessions. That I saw so much of activities already happened on that, and that is, I think most of us from these teams only. But so keep up the.
Yeah.
It's a lot of activity. See, this is a lot of seva which has already happened. So we should definitely round of applause for all of you on that.
That's right. I mean, I really appreciate the enthusiasm that all the teams are having right now. So I hope it continues to stay and it also grows with time. So yeah, I think that is it from my end.
Thank you.
Do we want to take questions with the tracker on
Sure, we
screen?
can take a few questions if anybody has. Also, we'll have the teams maybe do a presentation on their punchline, right? Selfless team, enthusiastic team, Vinamra, Ananya, maybe 5-10 minutes. They can
One
talk
more
about.
thing. Yeah,
Yep.
so if those people who haven't really joined any teams yet and are still interested in joining, we will be posting the group invites for all the 4 groups, and you can just click on any one of them, only one, but you can join any one team which you want to. That's it. Yeah.
It's completely honor based and it's completely for your thing only. Okay. And we want to just inculcate that spirit and make it a very enjoyable, spiritually uplifting exercise for all of us. That's the whole intent of this exercise. Okay. No hard taskmasters here. We'll do that, and I'm sure it will grow on all of us, and we'll have some success stories coming out of it very soon. I have a good feeling around that. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. Great. Any questions?
Yes, there are a few questions in the chat.
So officially our session ends. We can take some questions though, and maybe if somebody is interested in devotional, maybe we can do 1 or 2 because we have maybe around 10 minutes more. Yeah.
Yeah, there are some questions in the chat, and I think this will help in resolving some of the doubts.
Sure.
So one question is like for the video on. So in the tracker, we have that for complete 1 week. So is it 1 point per day or 1 point per week?
1 point per day. So if you watch 10 videos, you get 10 points. Okay. And if you do watch 10 videos and do like, share, comment all, then you multiply it by 3, right? You're adding that many points because for like you get 1, for share you get 1, comment 1. And the key thing is you should have watched that and thought about it. That is the biggest one. And then when you do that, that collective power is pretty huge of social media when we start doing it.
So just to show what you can do, say you can put an equals to sign and then 1 + 1 + 1. Say if you have kept your video on for 3 days and then you just press enter, it makes it 3. And then you can keep adding ones like, for the week if you are keeping it on all the 7 days.
Yeah, Jyoti, you will have to write a whole encyclopedia now. People will start turning on their videos and so many activity. Okay, so it's going to make your job interesting now. I'll see how creative you get now. So many videos. That's so good to see. Tisha ji, Tejaswi ji, and then we have Hemangini ji. Who else? So many faces I'm seeing today. Very nice. Good to see you all. I'm not seeing the name for some reason because. Okay, Surinder ji, I see. See, I'll start remembering your names very soon. So give me.
Shyamji really wants to say something, looks like.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe Shyamji.
Akshata ji, yes. And Rajita ji. Thank you, Rajita ji.
You miss my name always.
Shyamji, for you, I take you.
नाम तो हमेशा ही वीडियो ऑन होता है. आप कभी मेरा नाम लेते भी नहीं आज तक. ऐसा क्यों? नाराजगी आपकी मेरे से?
Take you for granted, Shyamji. So
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can I share my thoughts?
Of course, you can.
Yeah. Regarding this tracker, I am very lazy in putting tracker on my behind my name. So you will always find selfless team below the ladder. So जो मेरी टीम में है वो ये सोच के आए कि मैं ट्रैकर का भरूंगा नहीं कभी भी. तो अगर आप लोगों को इससे कोई एतराज नहीं है कि सेल्फलेस टीम हमेशा नीचे रहेगी तो प्लीज ज्वाइन कीजिए. और आपको मेरे साथ कभी भी कोई स्ट्रेस नहीं रहेगा. मैं इसको कोई काम नहीं मानता हूँ. आपकी मर्जी है, आपको सेवा करनी है कीजिए, नहीं करनी मत कीजिए. आपकी मर्जी है. सेवा आप अपने लिए कर रहे हैं, मेरे लिए नहीं कर रहे, हरि गुरु के लिए नहीं कर रहे. दिस इज द फर्स्ट थिंग आई वांट टू शेयर ऑन दिस प्लेटफॉर्म. सो प्लीज डू इट फॉर योर ओन सेल्फ. इफ यू फील लाइक डूइंग इट, डू इट. डोंट वांट डू इट, डोंट डू इट. और जो ये सेवा की बात है, मैं इसको कब से करता आ रहा हूँ. आई डिड नॉट नो कि दिस इज सेवा. आई वुड ऑलवेज लाइक एंड कमेंट. Not comment, I used to always like and share the post from RKT and CAC from, I guess, almost a year now. I never knew ki this could be also taken as seva, and this could be as now as a part of the challenge, not challenge, as a relative towards a Hari and Guru. So please feel free. आपको जो सेवा आपको लगता है इसमें लिखा हुआ है वो करनी है, या जो नहीं लिखा हुआ वो करनी है, आप वो कीजिए. एंड डो नॉट, आई फिर से बोल रहा हूँ, डो नॉट स्ट्रेस योर सेल्फ कि हमको पॉइंट्स ऐड करने हैं नहीं ऐड करने. इट डजंट मैटर टू मी. और जो मेरी टीम है हम सब लीडर्स हैं उसमें. देयर इज नोबडी हु इज सबऑर्डिनेट देयर. सो जिसको भी कोई कमेंट डालना है हमारे ग्रुप में प्लीज डालिए. और मैं चाहूंगा कि ये जितने भी हम यहाँ पर लोग हैं 100 के आसपास, सब सेल्फलेस टीम में ही आए, कहीं और जाए ही ना. सो इन दैट वेज मैं वैसे ही ऊपर आ जाऊंगा. सो आई रिक्वेस्ट ऑल ऑफ यू. और एंड आई सी नाउ डेज Urvi's cameras on. It's so good to see Urvi. I can't tell you because I know you have limited time, but still whenever you come you put a camera on nowadays. So और मैं शायद कुछ रिपीट करूं बारी बारी. That's it मेरे ख्याल से. और कई लोगों को इसमें आशंका थी. मैं हिंदी बोल रहा हूँ. I want to say in हिंदी. मुझे मजा आता है हिंदी बोलने में. I'm sure we all are okay with that. So कई लोगों को इसमें आशंका थी कि हम लोग टेक सेवी नहीं है. सी मैं भी टेक सेवी नहीं हूँ. मेरी कुछ सेवा का जो पार्ट है, जो सेवा मुझे दी गई है टू पोस्ट ऑन द कम्युनिटी पोर्टल और द नेक्स्ट डेज क्लास, मैं खुद नहीं करता हूँ, मेरे बच्चे करते हैं. सुबह सुबह उठते हैं वो लोग 6 बजे 5 बजे 7 बजे जब पढ़ रहे होते हैं, तो मैं बोलता हूँ मेरा ये काम कर दीजिए. सो एट द बैक पीपल बिलीव मैं कर रहा हूँ. सो मैं वो नहीं करता हूँ. संध्या, आई एम टेलिंग यू दिस प्राइमरीली, दैट इज डन बाय माय किड्स, समटाइम्स बाय either of them. No, I have never done so far for the past 2 weeks. एक भी पोस्ट आज तक नहीं किया है. But I love to do सेवा either by my own self or through my people around me. इसीलिए शायद मुझे नितिन भाई ने सेल्फलेस का टैग दिया था एज अ लीडर, बिकॉज मैं चाहे खुद करूँ चाहे ना करूँ, बट आई मेक श्योर कि पीपल अराउंड मी डू इट. सी सेल्फलेस, आई truly believe that God has given everybody a name, a tag, and people around you can feel that. So in my case, I am not boosting, but I am a selfless person. Trust you guys me. And इसीलिए मुझे शायद नितिन भाई ने और संध्या ने ये टैग दिया होगा सेल्फलेस का. और मैं फिर से बोल रहा हूँ, मैं कभी भी अपने, यू विल नॉट फाइंड पॉइंट्स ऑन माय नेम ट्रैकर. अगर कभी आ जाएंगे तो आ जाएंगे, बट आई विल हार्डली पुट इट. एंड संध्या जी कह रही है कि इट इज लाइक इलेक्शन कैंपेनिंग. बिल्कुल ठीक है. मैं अभी भी ये बोल रहा हूँ, आई वॉन्ट ऑल द पीपल टू जॉइन माई ग्रुप. राधे राधे.
Thank you, Shyam bhai. It was exactly like that, like people say, right? Aapki seva mein niswarth bhav se. Very nice. I think you're truly that. But yeah, I get that. And this is more about inculcating the spirit of sacrifice and seva. But हाँ, points डालने में कोई हर्ज नहीं है. That is also a seva. Basically, it will motivate other people in your team.
और
And
आपकी टीम से, yeah, someone else can volunteer to fill the tracker for you, I guess. If
Tracker
someone
करो, because
else
that will keep it going. Somebody else can fill that. You can have Palin do that as well for you, I'm sure. So, okay, let's hear from others as well. I think they had some. Maybe we can cover 3 questions and then wrap it up, because I think we'll run out of time for our devotional segment. Yes, Manoranjan ji, you wanted to say some Kabir ji's doha?
Yeah, rather, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got the right point. So one Kabir Doha couplet on which resonates with the today's Bhagavad Gita shloka. So it says, "Asamari Krishna miti आशा मरी तृष्णा मिटी, मन हुआ बेपरवाह। जिसको कछु नहीं चाहिए वही है शहंशाह कबीरा, वही है शहंशाह। Sant Kabir is saying that the person who doesn't want anything, the person who doesn't desire anything is actually known as Badshah or Sahenshah, right? So let us all become Sahenshah. Thank you very much.
Very nice, very apt. Thank you very much, Manoranjan ji. Last but not the least, do we have, yes, Swati ji, you wanted to say something or you wanted to sing?
Yeah, Radhe, I just wanted to sing a bhajan. Is it okay?
Your voice is very feeble.
Yeah, is it audible?
Yes.
Hello. Yeah, I just wanted to sing a line, bhajans. Is it okay?
Yeah,
Or-
sure.
I'll just put my camera also on.
Sure, sure.
Oh, okay. मन मोहना मन में रहो, मन मोहना मन में रहो, मन के मनन में रहो, मनन में रहो। तूने जो अंतर मन को आके छुआ है, मन मेरा वृंदावन के जैसे हुआ है। मन मोहना मन में रहो, चाहा है तुझको मन से, पूजा है तुझको मन से, जोड़ा है तुझसे नाता बड़े जतन से। मन मोहना मन में रहो, मन के मनन में रहो, मनन में रहो, मोहना। Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Swati ji. Short and sweet, like always. Very nice. Thank you very much. Radhe Radhe. All right. Samji, are you going to sing as well?
No.
Okay. What's the question now?
Question. Actually, we were not given option to choose our own team. I specifically stated, please place me in a team which you think, which you perceive will get high points.
So this is
But
how
now
you
all
asked,
others are.
you asked how does Prarabdha, which drop gets picked, right? This is how God's ways are. Okay. Sometimes things get done for you. So it's part of the Prarabdha. Okay. You have to accept it.
Then I'll keep, okay, because now the links are posted, I'll keep shifting. Whichever gets highest points, I'll be in that. Again, if something else, some other team gets, then I'll shift again.
Ramji, you missed the point. It's not about getting the highest
Yeah, I
point.
know.
It's about getting the highest inner adornment that we can as part of the seva.
Yeah, I know.
So you could be
Yes.
in the team with the least amount of points, but progressing really high. And at the same time, you could be in a team which is having the highest number of points, but the team is regressing actually. So choice is yours. What are you going to go for?
I don't know. I don't know.
You have all the time. Nobody's in a hurry. Okay. Take your time to figure it out. But one team only. Okay. Himani is ready for her singing. So Himani, all yours. And given a time, okay, I think Himani is the last one. So let's wrap it up with the bhajan of Himani then.
Okay. So I will sing Bhajman Radha from Brajras Madhuri.
Okay.
भज मन राधा राधा, रस प्रेम सुधा राधा, ब्रज रस वारिधि राधा, सोई मम स्वामिनी राधा। भज मन राधा राधा, रस प्रेम सुधा राधा, ब्रज रसवारी थी राधा, सोई मम स्वामिनी राधा.
Beautiful, Himani. Loved it. But I was keep on saying Himani is the find of the year for us here today. Beautiful singing. So keep rendering your voice to the sessions and to the satsangs. That's a wonderful seva that you're doing. So see, if you enjoyed Himani's voice, you can imagine if you attend daily satsangs, which we have started every 7 to 8, which is 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. India time, you can partake the nectar of these devotional bhajans big time. And thank you again, Himani, for that. Loved it. Beautiful. Okay, so with that, okay, I can. No, I don't know. See, are you ready to get namkeen snack after a beautiful desert? I'm not talking about. I'm talking about myself. Okay. Okay, let me sing a couple of lines. I'll not go long, but just a couple of them. This is the bhajan I'm loving these days, so I said, okay, let me just do a couple of lines today. I can't do it as well as Himani does, but I'll try my best. Okay. So that was Radha Bhajan. So I'm going to do Krishna. So balance it out. Okay. So that Krishna doesn't feel left out today. Nand Lal Pyare Yashoda Dulare Naino ke tare करूं मैं तिहारी मनुहार प्यारे करूं मैं तिहारी मनुहार आशा का बंधन छूट न जाए लगन मिलन की छूट न जाए आशा का बंधन छूट न जाए लगन मिलन की छूट न जाए नंदलाल प्यारे यशोदा दुलारे नैनों के प्यारे करूं मैं तिहारी मनुहार प्यारे करूं मैं तिहारी मनुहार. All right. Radhe Radhe. Okay. I think we come to an end of the session today. We covered a lot of stuff today, philosophy, seva, and some chantings as well. Radharani, Krishna, pretty much all around the place, right? So hope you enjoyed the session and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We will do quiz, a little bit of quiz today, and we will learn some lessons from car. Okay, if you love car, we'll talk about car. Okay, what are the spiritual lessons we can love from a car? I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Stay blessed and have a wonderful day. Great rest of your evening. I'll see you tomorrow.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you, Nitinji. You might want to consider a bhajan day with you and Himani ji leading the.
Not me, of course, but yeah, we can do that. I was thinking, maybe we can introduce a segment where we can do Roop Dhyan on a small kirtan. Okay, small kirtan where we can just immerse, play it, do Roop Dhyan. That might be something you want to experiment with in a while, right? But if when Himani sings, we probably don't need to play it, right? So we can work it out. Great. And we are quiz master will be in full form tomorrow. So brush up your Bhagavad Gita knowledge and let's have fun tomorrow and see how many concepts you remember when we meet tomorrow. So Radhe Radhe from my side. Good night, good day, everyone.
Radhe, everyone. Thank you.